Next show is a show that I still can't get out of my head to this day, and it still bothers me. Samurai Jack.
Yeah.
Oh,
why
did they cancel
all
13
episodes? Why the heck did they cancel? They didn't even end it.
Great show. They never
Fantastic show. They built up to it. Like, oh, it's gonna happen soon. No, you never saw the end.
He never defeated I forget his name.
He never
defeated him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember seeing the last few episodes. They were recapping like how Aku actually came into like existence. Like I was on episode like I think it was like 30 something, and it was really good. And I was like, oh dude, this is gonna be such a sick matchup. I really want them to win.
Yeah, it did that build up to nothing.
You know, it sucks. It totally bothers me. But what we do have now is really it's such an interesting show because sometimes Jack would barely talk at all.
Yeah. And he still did talk. Like Kurt Jack, he'd still talk.
He'd still talk, but only when it was like necessary.
They tried, but it didn't work.
Yeah. I think they tried it like 5 times and it still didn't go.
Yeah, because they couldn't match how it used to be because the way it used to be, it was the perfect amount. Like it was the perfect amount of how dark it was, but they didn't do it too dark. But they didn't make it too light to where it was kids could watch it. But you still had that.
You still had those violent scenes. I remember in the opening, Jack's like cutting up some gorilla. I'm like, dang, Jack's a beast.
Gorillas.
Jack is going around
cutting up gorillas.
And I love the art style, like how blocky it is. Like it's kind of it's like a Powerpuff Girls, but not smooth. It's blocky style, and I think that's really cool. Like it really without the defined lines, like how they have outlines. I don't think Samurai Jack really had that too much. They had like the colors coming through rather than like it was all flat.
They tried to use the ancient like how they had the Japanese like the Japanese hieroglyphics and everything, and I looked that up, and it was based on the Japanese hieroglyphics because if you look at some of the moves, some of the animation of it, it looks as if it's not 3D-ish, but it's just like what's that called when it's just like
flat, like 2D.
It's flat. It looks 2D. Yeah. It looks flat. It looks flat 2D-ish, and it's not 3D animation.
Yeah, I know, and I think it totally benefits from that style. And the concept itself is really cool, like a samurai in the future. And it was just such a brilliant show. And I really wish that it never got canceled. And it did so many different things. Like sometimes Jack would be helping a helpless creature. He'd be fighting like some Scottish guy. There was a lot that show did. And it was really random.
Yeah, because he was on his way. He was there. I remember it was just a journey. He went from one place and he was going to Aku. Is his name Aku?
Yeah, Aku.
Aku, his lair, which was like at the top mountain at the top of the world or something. And he was the whole show was just him walking there, his journey up to there, and finally,
yeah. So definitely, I think that show is great. I wish that it would have came back, but you know what? It's fine. We have a great show now. Let's go on to the next show. Codename Kids Next Door.
Oh,
man.
One of my favorite shows ever on Cartoon Network.
Show's the jam.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, it was so creative.
That picture you showed me.
It was so creative, just like with all the different weapons they had, like that kids have or like that kids hate, and they would use it against other people.
Yeah.
It was awesome because when you watch it, like if only I could do this as a kid, because you wanted a Kids Next Door to be real when you watch that show. It was fantastic.
It was really creative, and I loved how it was like all the kids and like they didn't even have names. Well, except number one, right? I think number one was
Nigel Uno.
Yeah. I liked that because there was always
number 4 was Wally.
Yeah, they actually did.
They all had names, but
mainly the main 5 that had names.
And the coolest part is that they were never like carbon copies of anybody else.
Yeah.
Like number 1 was the leader. Number 2 was like always like the fat, funny kid.
Yeah.
And like I always loved how like they made these characters.
Yeah, and then when they showed the different branches of the Kids Next Door.
Yeah.
Because then 1 through 5. Then what about after that? You show like they're across the world.
Yeah, like number 187. I really found that interesting. I really liked that concept. How like they were this giant organization of every single country. Like they had like a moon base. I'm like, how did the kids get up there? It's like they built these like contraptions.
No, that episode was like the beginning of the end, sort of, because they're like
Mr. Dad or something.
Like, that he knows, and then it showed every episode after that was leading up to like the final.
I remember one of the most like just fun episodes to watch is when the leader, like the main leader of the Kids Next Door, wanted to quit, and you know how they picked who the leader was? A game of tag. Yeah, tag. They had like 24 hours, and whoever was
I remember number 4
would beat the leader.
I remember number 4 was it, and he was like, no, and he tagged the dad or
father,
and then the father was like, oh.
Yeah, that was a really cool show.
Yeah, Father. I really the episode that like shocked me the most, like as a kid, but like when I found out they owned the kids from down the lane, I forget what they're called, like the
Blindfold
Devil's Children in the Lane. When they figured out that, like, you know how up the entire thing, like the lost squad of the kids next door members, like they were the lost squad. Yeah. I'm like, they were the lost squad. Then like they sacrificed themselves to remain the delightful children just so they could beat Father. And I was like, oh my gosh,
that movie was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember a little bit of that movie. I remember most of it. And I remember this show was just brilliant. My brother and I used to love this show. It was just so awesome. And it's just such a great idea.
They had like concept. 2 movies, didn't they? They had Mr. Dad or whatever, the main guy or whatever. And then they had Number 0, which was Nigel's father.
Yeah, because Father was the main adversary to the kids next door. Then you find out Number 0 was Nigel's dad.
Yeah.
And he was actually brothers with Father. So that was really cool.
And then Nigel's granddad like comes and takes over.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I loved all the villains, how they were like all the things we kids hated at the time.
Yeah.
Like the dentist guy or the
lunch lady.
Yeah.
But the guy that made it crack was the Toilinator.
Yeah, Toilinator.
Oh yeah, I remember that guy. Wasn't he like a joke of a villain?
Yeah, and but like the one time when he almost destroyed the kids next door and then he screwed up at the last minute.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Definitely one of the best endings, I think, to a cartoon ever.
Didn't they show like what happened? Like all their kids were in the kids next door or something like that? Or
it was.
Yeah, they even showed how Father became Father. They showed how he used to be.
Like the ending was that Nigel was nominated to be part of the Galactic Kids Next Door, so he went into space, and then you find out at the end that all the 5 members, they never had their minds erased. So that was really cool.
I think that's one of the best.
It got a little complicated towards the end.
Yeah, it did.
I honestly think though that's what shows, cartoons should be allowed to go on until the very end, because I think that it prospers because it shows, just how big and complex
that's why I love Kids Next Door so much as a kid.
And how just amazing they can be with a good story. So let's move on to and I actually found this funny. Kids Next Door actually crossed over for one episode into the next show we're talking about, The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. I didn't know this.
Did they?
They did. I actually
Mandy
saw
was in an episode,
this episode. It was okay. For some reason, I think it dealt with Billy and Mandy calling. They needed help with something, or Billy needed help with something, and so the first thing he does is call Ed and Eddie. And they're like, what? We don't do this for free. Call the kids next door. And so they hang up and it actually calls the kids next door. And they go down and they help Billy with whatever. And then Number 1 and Grim get into like this weird situation. And then Mandy somehow becomes the villain. I'm not kidding. Mandy became the villain of the entire thing.
Well, Mandy was a little villainous to begin with.
Yeah. But anyway, so let's talk about The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy.
That show was
show.
Awesome. I love that show so much. I like the friend, the nerd friend or whatever, you find out his mom's a mummy or something like that.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, they have, like, this big episode where, like, he's, like, the whole family's cursed because the mummy's cursed, and Billy tries to kill the mom. And it's awesome. And then Grandmama. I love Grandmama.
I never really watched this show because of just how
bizarre.
It just way out there it was. Like, it was like a Courage the Cowardly Dog kind of thing.
But it went over the line.
Yeah, it was dealing with, like, magic and demons, and I was like, ooh, okay, that's a little weird. Like,
but now you watch it now, and you're like...
Yeah, like, now it's just kind of like, but it's still one of those shows that's just like...
It's, like, not nearly as bad as something now.
Yeah, then I watched the first I think I, like, watched the first episode.
How they got
Grim became Mandy's servant because of what? Didn't she
because they would jump rope, skip rope. Oh. I think it was skip rope and Grim lost because he was like the skip rope champion of the underworld and he lost or something. It was either skip rope or something else. I can't forget.
He had to like kill Billy or something like that, right? Like Billy was supposed to die.
It was either that or Billy or their souls would be his because he's the believer. Yeah. And he lost because I remember like he tripped over Billy's nose or something. I forget.
I feel like that was just a show that was so outlandish, and a lot of people like it. So
the show was amazing.
Yeah, I know. You guys definitely like it. Elijah and Joseph definitely like it. I don't know about you, Jonathan.
I love that show. You're talking about.
Yeah. Well, me, I never really watched it because I never really cared.
Weirdo.
But yeah, so I think that's another great show to put on the Legends list.
Transition.
All right, so this is another show that actually came from a movie. and it's based on a long-running franchise. Actually, it came from a long run of movies, but it came from it's Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
Oh,
and this show's been going on forever. I mean, it's been going on for a long time. I think honestly, they have 6 seasons on Netflix and everything. And I think they have total 100-something episodes. It's a massive
it was
show.
They had 3 seasons after Star Wars Episode 3 came out or something like that.
Yeah,
around that time, and then after it went on break, and then it came back recently, the last couple of years.
That show, a lot of people don't like the Clone Wars because first there was the animated one, it was the cartoon one.
I remember that show.
And then they came out with the cartoon came out with the movie, and then it came out with the Cartoon Network show.
I like the animated too, just because it showed what happened in between episode 2 and 3.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't like it because it's it's not canon. What are all these new characters and everything? I liked it. The thing was about the show was it got really violent.
Yeah, okay. On Netflix, they actually started cussing sometimes. I was like, cussing, and I was like, dang, these guys, this show.
Yeah, it's on Toonami now.
Yeah, I know, and I was like, wow, I'm glad that they can be Star Wars PG-13. I was like, this is cool. I like that.
Didn't the main girl Anakin's apprentice die or whatever?
So no, I never really liked her though.
Okay,
I think she's alive. No?
She died.
She survived, but I remember one episode where was back to the whole cussing thing.
Yeah.
But when they come back, I remember one of the things was Shinies when it showed that the clone troopers and one of them gets eaten by the giant. I was like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, I remember that.
Thinking, whoa!
I was like, wow, this is Star Wars. You're
it's that would be an eel. It's
Cartoon Network. Some of the cartoons they cuss, they say crap and stuff.
Yeah, they say newer modern words and stuff. Okay, this is a show that I've never even heard of. The name doesn't sound familiar, but maybe if I saw a picture of it, I might know what it is. Megas XLR. Anybody?
Yeah, I've heard that. I haven't seen it.
It sounds familiar.
And we've seen a few clips. Basically, this guy who stays at home, plays video games, watches movies. He ends up getting control of this huge mech, and he fights other people.
Oh yeah, I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. I don't think I watched it.
I've only seen a few clips, but it does.
Did a robot chick come down and they?
Yeah, I think something like that. But it definitely looked like a creative show that had a lot of passion to it, and the animation is actually really good. It was definitely, I think it was pretty groundbreaking for the time for 2D animation, and it still looks really good today.
Well, I remember. I think the name sounds really familiar, but I don't think I've ever seen an episode. I might have seen an advertisement when I was watching, but
I think I've seen one episode. I can't.
But let's just move on. Next show, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is a great show.
Yes,
I think this is one of the most creative Cartoon Network shows ever. I think this is probably in the top 3 of most creative. Some that's debatable, but in my opinion. Yeah. Because who would ever come up with the idea for imaginary friends, needing a home, like an orphanage, basically, and that's just so creative, and the concept and the art, for the characters and the designs are really unique, and you can tell that they were literally just using their imaginations. And that's
so many creative designs. Just the friends in the background, there were so many in each episode, which shows all the creativity that they had.
I did like all the creative designs. I forget the names, but the big red, tall red guy. He's a basketball player, but he had one short arm or something.
Yeah, Will. Yeah. They found out he was an imaginary friend for a famous basketball player.
Yeah, they actually
Goodwill Hunting. That was a really
I remember that episode. Yeah,
that was really
cool. How they actually showed his owner come back and he was actually a professional ball player now, and it was like, oh my god.
I remember the episode where it showed what happened to his this half of his body. Or
that's Goodwill Hunting.
Yeah.
But then Blue.
I like how simple Blue was. He was just a...
Yeah.
He's just so basic, yet he has so much to his character. Sometimes he's nice, he's just so crazy. And I think that's cool. I like the whole relationship
sometimes I got mad at Blue just because he was such a big jerk.
Yeah, I know, but I love the relationship between Mac and Blue, because Mac is a really nice kid. You're oh, this is a cool 8-year-old kid, and Blue is just crazy. You know what I mean?
And shall we discuss cheese?
No, we don't need to, Joseph.
Okay, I remember watching that episode, and I literally was like, this guy is the most annoying imaginary friend I've ever seen in my life. And
we didn't talk about Fradburger.
He's there in Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. He's funny. Yes. You guys can do very good impressions of him. That's about it.
Yes.